And we are live. What's good, y'all? It's your man DL Saint. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I really want to know summer schedule. Yo, y'all know I'm all over the place. I can't. It's going to be impossible for me to keep a schedule. So do me a favor, hit that notification button, just so you know whatever it is I'm doing. I just can't get it done. I can't keep to a schedule because I don't have my little girl, and that is what keeps me anchored, right? Is everything revolves around her. She's out of school. It's summertime. She's like with her mom, or she's pretty much where she wants to be. She calls when she wants to come home or whatever's going on. So if she hits me up like, Papa, come get me, like, all right, I'll go get her when she's ready to come home, get a little break, and then she'll go back over. But that's what grounds me. That's what keeps me on my normal schedule. That's why, during the school year, yeah, I can do every day, 6 p.m., no problem. And on weekends, I could do 2 p.m. But now that summer is here and I'm out here trying to, get back into the stand-up world heavy, I'm trying to work my way in with valuetainment. I'm also out here as a content creator, networking, doing what I do with everyone else. There is no schedule. It's gonna tell you. So I'll have a thought to do a show. I'm just gonna pop up and do it. I'm doing the shorts now. When I go out and I'm just talking about comedy, I called it talking stand up or talking comedy or something like that. I got the thumbnail on there and it's just, real quick, 6, 8, 10, 12 minutes of me talking about something, and I'll upload it and I'll put that thumbnail on there. So whenever you see that thumbnail, whenever you see that thumbnail, you know what it is. Um, I'm not going to show it to you right now. I'll probably do it at the end of the show because I'm all loaded up and ready to go on this one. So I don't want to go moving stuff around. I know I'm going to lose a lot of the East Coast when I do these random times, especially these later shows. But it is what it is. Catch it on Team Replay. Please like and subscribe. Leave comments at the bottom. Let me know what you're thinking. But I'm just not going to be able to adhere to any kind of schedule, especially when I start booking gigs. Right now, I'm just doing open mics, and I'm putting together a reel so I can send that reel out and do some stuff. And again, I talk about this on, on those talks I have, the vlogs I have about going out and doing stand up. So if you're interested in that, you want to know what it's like to be a stand up comedian, check those out. And then when you watch those, you got any questions or whatever, be sure to, ask those questions in the comments or whatever, and I'll address it. I love it. It's fun. It's more than a hobby. It's a career. I just, what I mean? It's a good thing. When not, so I'm gonna stop talking about stand up when I do this stuff. Just go ahead and refer to those vlogs. So thanks for rocking out with me. First and foremost, I appreciate y'all. We're gonna continue this discussion on red pill manosphere stuff, dating. It's just so much going on, especially after this trip to watch that live Fresh and Fit Saucecast event. Bro, with the conversation that was going on, the conversations that were going on amongst the people in attendance and everything else, man, I'm telling you, it's getting crazy. No, not getting, it has gotten crazy out here with the dating world, with what's going on. And I was sitting here watching whatever podcast, and I haven't, I don't watch religiously, I don't, but I have seen some episodes just looking at the young women that come on there and looking at how they're dressed with the makeup and the outfits. Like, bro, this is the middle of the day. They record early. It's like the middle of the day in Santa Barbara, and you got these young women walking in dressed like cats or dressed like doll babies or dressed like whatever. And then there's so much going on in the background. This clip we're gonna watch now, there's a professional psychologist on the panel. He's there and he's talking with these young women and he's making sense. And I'm watching this clip, but in the background, there's some weirdness going on. Right? There's some weirdness going on. And I'm sitting there looking at this like, what's the deal? So that's what this is all about. And again, this is coming through the eyes of an old dude. Like, I'm in my 50s. The world is not the same. All right. Just I'm just letting you know, as a guy who's been in these trenches, who's been out here in no man's land dealing with this stuff, the world is not the same. When it comes to the dating world here in America, things have changed drastically, right? Some things are reminiscent of the way it used to be, but overall, man, it's gotten crazy out here. So we're gonna get into this. Probably won't go too long tonight. It is getting pretty late on the East Coast. As you guys know, I haven't been sleeping well, so I could probably stay up till 6. It wouldn't be a problem, but I gotta get that issue looked into. I gotta fix that, figure out why I'm not sleeping. But so we have a psychologist who explains why not everybody is attractive, right? That's the title of this clip. Very informative. I thought it was really good. Like this guy, I'm like, oh man, this guy's spot on. I've been trying to find his content on YouTube, can't find it. He mentions his name. Maybe he's like on TikTok and all the other platforms, which I don't really mess with. Can't find him on YouTube. I'm gonna have to go through. Maybe I can go in there and maybe they have some links in the description, so I'll be able to find this dude. I want to see some more of his content. He seems pretty much spot on. I've watched a few other clips. He's not really for marriage, at least the way it is now. There's another clip out there that I'm thinking about reacting to. Like this, we're reacting to a podcast that was like 6 hours. So they putting out a whole bunch of clips. So we take it as it comes, look at it and see what it is. But let's watch this part right here. And before we get started, you see what I mean about the weirdness thing, right? Like you have this young woman right here with she got the cat ear things in her head. Look at the makeup, bro. Look at the makeup, heavy tats. She got the gloves with the skeleton on the outside. Bro, and this is the new norm, you can say, especially out in California. You would see this kind of stuff sometimes. It'll have to be like it was an event going on. There was a reason to be dressed up like that. I'll give you an example. On Hollywood Boulevard, right? In West Hollywood, on Hollywood Boulevard, I forget the exact address. There's a place called Scum and Villainy. And that is, a line from Star Wars. Well, and that was the original Star Wars. And, Obi-Wan Kenobi was talking about the scum and villainy inside Tatooine. And then they go into the bar looking for Han Solo, right? Well, in LA, and this happened before I left, and I think it's still standing. They found a bar, they found a space, they made it up to look like that bar on Tatooine, and it's called Scum and Villainy. And people come in and they cosplay. They come in sometimes dressed up. Normally, they'll do it like for Ahsoka is getting ready to release. So I don't know if it's released or not, but it's supposed to be releasing. So like when Ahsoka will premiere, people will go to Scum and Villainy dressed as Jedi or dressed as mercenaries or dressed as stormtroopers, the Sith, whatever. And they would go and they would watch the episode in Scum and Villainy or whatever, and they would, drink and have a good time. All right, cool. That's cosplay. That's normal. I get that. But when people just walk around every day dressed like a cat, you know what I mean? Or dressed like whatever every single day, putting on the heavy makeup and all the rest, and augmenting their bodies to look a certain way, like, making themselves look like they have horns, tattooing and putting studs everywhere. All right, now we're starting to get into a realm that it can't be healthy. I mean, it can't. But we live in an era where people is like, yo, just take me as I am. Well, I mean, can we do that? Is it possible to do that and have a functioning society? And you add all that on to, all right, I want to date. I want to get a person, forget the high value, top tier, forget all that. But if you have this fetish where you walk around dressed like a collie every day, and when you come home, you walk around on all fours and you want to eat doggy treats and you want people to rub you on your belly, bro, you're going to have a hard time finding someone, especially if you're a dude. If you're a woman, probably going to still get a dude. Oh, so there's a difference between being weird as a guy and weird as a woman. So let's get into this, y'all. Again, this is Whatever Podcast. Shout out to them. And this is a talk about why everyone is not attractive, man. So let's check this out.
Everyone is born already basically just beautiful. So I don't think there's a reason to rate people and bring them down, or I don't like the bringing down aspect of it.
Well, I don't think it necessarily brings people.
I feel like it could.
It could.
Yeah.
I agree with you, actually. I think that everybody can be beautiful, but I think it would be naive to say that we're all equally attractive.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Great.
The attractive aspect.
So I think what we're getting into is sexual marketplace value. So I have some interesting takes on this. Maybe I can share them at this point. So I think that there's a few different ways that we can approach this. And I think it's generally done with not a lot of nuance. I think that everybody kind of has what I call a normalized sexual marketplace value, which is sort of like, according to the standards of the culture in which you live, how well do you measure up on the most important dimensions to the opposite sex? So a number of the things that you've brought up today are like height. This guy led with his socioeconomic status. He makes $200,000 a year. So these are things that I think would be on normalized sexual marketplace value for men. For women, it would be their physical appearance, their age, things like that. But no one really knows what their sexual marketplace value is, because all transactions are based on perceived sexual marketplace value. Like, I got a thing for cute nerds. That's my thing. And that's not necessarily what the culture tells me women are supposed to look like in terms of their archetypal beauty. But that's something that's really interesting and attractive to me. And you never really know until you engage a person how they perceive you in terms of your general attractiveness. Just because you don't accord with the socialized, normalized sexual marketplace value doesn't mean that you can't be highly attractive. Or conversely, just because you are 6'4" and you make a lot of money doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be very attractive to certain women, right?
And bro, he's on point. I get where he's coming from. You could tell he's a professional. This is what he does for a living. He's talking to people. He has that monotone to his voice and his cadence, and he's looking around the table, and he's thinking to himself like, bro, I could probably make a fortune off these women. They all need help. You know what I mean? And he's reading the chat, so he's like, yeah, these dudes need help too. Brother Damon's in the house, man. What's good, fam? How you doing? Good to see you. What's up with the black baby doll? Exactly. It's the weirdness that I was talking about. You got this young Asian girl, right, of Asian descent. I'm pretty sure she's American. She's hanging out, and apparently she's on every show. She sits in the background, doesn't really say anything. She just kind of sits there, right? He used to have a sex doll that sat back in the same chair and just kind of sat there. Now he has her, and she's wearing that World War I Kaiser helmet. And I thought the exact same thing you're thinking. Why is she walking around with this black doll baby and holding it like she's caressing this child? It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life, right? And you're supposed to be on this platform trying to spread some sort of message or entertain or whatever. Like, what the hell is that? What is that? And the dude, Brian, this is his show. Where is he? He gets up. He has this, his guest is going to have this discussion. Dude gets up and he goes to the kitchen and he's doing stuff, moving stuff around, in the kitchen or whatever. And I get it. You're doing a podcast like 6 hours. You guys are sitting there. You're going to have to move, do whatever you got to do. But this is your show. From wherever he is, he has no control over what's about to happen on this podcast for which he is responsible. And right away, you got this young girl walking around with this black doll baby. What is that? Dude, I want to know as well. It doesn't make sense to me. Why? And this young woman who's holding that doll baby doesn't even talk, bro. She doesn't talk. Now, here is about 6 minutes of information that is really good information for those people out here who are really struggling, trying to figure out the sexual marketplace and trying to figure out attractiveness and, just all these things, right? And most of the people who watch this are guys from the RP space, from the manosphere. They're watching this. Here's a moment where they can actually get some good information, and you can't focus on what's being said because you got this young girl in the background walking around with a black baby doll. This is what I mean about this weirdness. Like, has Brian stumbled onto something? It's not enough to just have pretty women or cute women on your panels anymore? That's not enough to bring in, the viewership, to bring in the super chats, to bring in the subscribers. We got to do extra on top of that. So these girls got to come in dressed like cats. We got to bring in, severely obese people, which I understand. I mean, that's part of society, and that, that plays a role in the sexual market value and all that kind of stuff. All right, cool. I'm cool with that. You want to bring them in, that's fine. But you got people coming in with these outlandish costumes on, these young girls, right? And then you got this other young girl who just sits in the back and that doesn't do anything, just kind of moves around. Is this what you got to do now to get bread? Is that what he stumbled onto? Is this is a way to enhance the bottom line? Is that what it is? You got to be weird? Are they playing weird or are they really weird? You know what I mean? Now it's California, right? They're in Santa Barbara, man, just outside of LA. It's only a couple hours drive, depending on where you leave from, right? Like coming from Santa Monica or coming from the valley, wherever you're coming from. So weirdness in California is nothing new. So is it just something that's naturally transferring into YouTube? I don't know, bro. And to answer your question, I have no idea what's up with that black doll baby that she's holding with this World War I Kaiser helmet that she's wearing. It's just the weirdest thing. But if you can just, when I first watched this clip, I had to close my eyes just so I could listen to what bro was saying. And the doctor is right. He's on point. But it's so much weirdness going on between the panel. And again, there's a woman at the table dressed like a cat. You know what I mean? She's dressed like old boy from Kiss with the makeup and the tattoos. And it's just, man, it's just so much going on, man. It's overload the senses. You know what I mean? It overloads the senses, man. But let's get back to it.
Yeah.
But the kicker is that you really only know your sexual marketplace value when you get into a relationship. So it's like I knew somebody that I was very close to. She was an artist and she had never sold a painting before. And she started by offering her paintings for $100,000, which God bless her. I love the courage with that, but it just wasn't really realistic that someone was going to buy a piece of art for $100,000 from an unknown artist. It was only when she began to bring down that price that we got to see what that painting was actually worth. And that only occurred because somebody was willing to pay X amount for it. Until then, the actual price or the value of that painting was kind of like just pure potential. We only really realize worth in the moment of transaction, which can only occur between two individuals.
So you're saying, okay, so then let's say the girl gets into a relationship, then how do you determine her SMV from the guy's status?
Yes. So I think that you can kind of, in this framework, determine a woman's sexual marketplace value by the normalized sexual marketplace value of the men who are willing to get into a relationship with her. And you can determine a man's male sexual marketplace value by the normalized sexual marketplace value of the women he is able to sleep with.
Okay, what if she's gay? How do you determine her SMV?
I don't know. I guess you could do it. I think most of these concepts apply also to gay relationships.
But I don't know if lesbians are hypergamous.
They are really big on commitment. There's an old joke about what does a lesbian bring to a second date, and it's a trailer because she's moving in. So there's takes all kinds, but there is my understanding, a big bent in lesbian relationships towards commitment.
Okay. I just feel like in high schools and colleges, like people kind of date people at their school. They're probably like in a similar income range.
Sure.
So I don't know how you would determine like the SMV of like a college sophomore is dating another college sophomore who are both kind of an equal amount of college debt. And you wouldn't say she has low SMV because she's dating a guy in debt and not getting scooped up by a millionaire, right? So doesn't that kind of make your definition of SMV kind of irrelevant to most dating instances?
No, because I think it's based on the context in which you exist. So we can say that people might have a normalized sexual marketplace value for the culture at large, but maybe the culture that and the context that matters most to you is your campus. Or maybe it's even just like the people in your homeroom class. Like there's all kinds of hierarchies within social systems as soon as more than two people start to relate to each other.
Okay, so then you would then judge it based off like, okay, is that guy an athlete? Is he like doing well, or like what would be
in
the
high school? Yeah,
metrics?
that's the stereotypical one. It's like who is the big man on campus is the quarterback, right?
Sure.
Now,
And when I watch this, I'm like, bro, it's on point. And of course, the young women want to push back, especially the one with the glasses. Like she is savvy enough to understand what he's talking about, and she can't push back at all because not only is it facts, but it's backed up by academia. Like this dude is just telling you, like, yeah, this is how it is. She knows this. Now, if it's just a regular dude on there, you got some red pill guy on there or whatever, they're gonna push back and say all these things. But this guy's like, hey, I'm just telling you, this is what it is. So I applaud him for that. But while all this is going on, you got this Asian this young woman who looks like a little girl playing with a black doll baby. And when Brian, the guy who's the host and creator of this platform, comes back, she gets out of his chair, goes back to her chair. He knows exactly what she's doing. He sees what she's doing. This guy, this Brian dude, has already been on other platforms. He's on Destiny's platform, crying that he's getting death threats, and he's crying that people, they don't understand me, and I don't have any control of what goes on. I just bring people. I don't know they're gonna say all these things, right? He doesn't want to own it. Like you. So if someone was to confront him, come up on him like, yo, bro, what are you doing? Why is this young girl sitting here with a black doll baby? Right? There's no black people in the room, right? There's no one. What is this, bro? Why are you letting this happen? Well, it wasn't me. It's just something she does. No, man, you got to own this. You got to own it. And it takes away, as someone who produces content, as someone who has done shows, like I've produced comedy shows. I have executive produced video shoots. I've done short films along with my team, right? So I understand how to run a production. I understand that, if you have the title, you are, especially if you are executive anything, you are responsible for everything that goes on within the confines of that platform. If you let it go, that means you're cool with it. You're cool with it. So instead of sitting here listening to what this very intelligent psychologist has to say about dating and sexual market value and how it really works, we're all focused on a young Asian looking girl with a black doll baby. I don't understand. Now, again, this could be a thing. This is the weirdness that I was talking about. There's some very, very weird people out here now, and they're expecting the world to conform to them. And it doesn't work that way, youngins. We still have to present ourselves a certain way. I am the single ones in the house. What's good, Shorty? How you feeling? Thanks for coming through. It's summertime. I don't adhere to my schedule during the summer. Normally, I'm on at 6 o'clock during the weekdays and 2 p.m. during the weekends, but it's summertime, so I'm kind of all over the place. I can't keep to that schedule with stand-up and with other things that I'm doing, like this stuff and everything else. So I'm just all over the place. Thanks for popping in, Shawty. I appreciate you coming through. I really do. We're reacting to a clip from whatever podcast. Aside from the young Asian woman walking around with a black doll baby, if you can kind of just overlook that for a minute, the conversation is solid when they're talking about sexual marketplace value. They talk a little bit about hypergamy and how women and men mate select. I wanted to touch on this real quick. So we're going to continue right now.
Does this guy, can he compete with somebody who's 35, makes $1 million a year? Well, it just depends on what the woman is looking for. She might be so involved in that context that she will actually choose the quarterback over somebody who makes, hundreds of $1,000s a year.
Mm-hmm.
I think it really depends on the context.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Oh, and one more thing, and I think this is why this is great advice for guys, especially maybe the shorter kings out there, 5'7", is find a context in which you can shine. Like, you can be a contextual alpha. I know you might not love that term, but you can definitely have a higher sexual marketplace value in certain contexts versus others.
Facts. As the absolute truth, what he just said. I'm trying to find, you know what? Let me just drop this screen and I'll find it in a second. There was another clip I wanted to look at when he talks about marriage. But this dude was spot on with a lot of the things that he was saying. It's just, it goes back to that weirdness. It's just the weirdness. Like, what is going on with the weirdness today? You see it on this platform. You don't see it so much on Fresh and Fit. I mean, you do, but it's a different type of weirdness. You know what I mean? I notice it every time I get together with some brothers, when I do a red pill event or I show up at an event like that, something in the manosphere, I notice with some of the guys, they don't even realize how weird they're being. Everyone has little weird moments, right? We all do. Something's gonna happen. You're gonna geek out to do something weird. All right, I get that. but there's so many people out there today who live in their weirdness. And of course, they're going to have trouble going out here, trying to find someone, quote unquote. It just, people refuse to conform. And now they're like, well, again, take me for as I am. Take me the way I am. Nah, nah, no, I'm not going to do that. Especially if you're weird. As a stand-up comedian, and when you do open mics and stuff like that, comedians are weird. Actors, weird. But the weirdest of all are the people who work on set, the hyper creatives. They live on a different plane. So they do stuff, they don't mean to be weird, but they do some of the weirdest things. Where do you think all these crazy stories you hear about come from in Hollywood? When you got somebody who's like, I don't know, I want M&Ms, but I only want green ones or whatever. I have to have a certain type of water. I have to, I know, people that won't touch, I'm a germaphobe. I can't touch a door. I can't touch people. Howie Mandel was like that. It goes over the top. And people enable that in Hollywood. Like, you're making them money, you're making them hundreds of millions of dollars. Yeah, all right, yeah, give them the green M&Ms. You, Billy, you go with him, you open all the doors, you touch all the stuff. You know what I mean? You make sure you keep his hand sanitizer there. I mean, it's just so many things that they do. Hollywood enables it. Andy Dick's probably one of the weirdest human beings I ever met in my life. That dude's legit crazy. Legit crazy. But he was enabled in Hollywood for so many years. He was doing so many crazy things. Right? That didn't bother me as much back in the day because it seemed to be contained in Hollywood. It was contained in places like Wall Street. It was contained. Now it's everywhere, yo. It's everywhere. So I want to find this other clip. Let's see, whatever clips. And let me find this for you. Again, this dude was really breaking. I mean, he was just bringing the fire, yo. He was bringing the heat. Here's one right here when he explains why he's not a fan of marriage. Pull this up and have a look. See,
they are causing the body count to go up.
Well, I
So
think
they're
both.
causing problems.
It's a
too.
mutual.
Yeah.
It's more of a woman's choice
Of course, yeah. I
because
agree with
women are
her.
the gatekeepers of sex, especially unless we're getting into non-consensual relationships, which I don't think any of us are discussing. It's like, if a woman doesn't want to have sex, it doesn't happen. It's not something that men are imposing on women. It's something that women are choosing to do.
Absolutely.
And
You
that's
don't
why the
think-
sexual revolution was so bad, because it told women, go have sex, be loose. Sex in the City was so popular. Even the show Friends was so popular. Just have sex, sleep around. And it told women that made you sexy and desirable and powerful. And that's what opened the gate in society. Women opened the gate. Now they're just having sex. And so they're not gatekeeping their bodies and their wombs anymore, because the sexual revolution told them that was empowering for them. And it's not. Like, it's been horrible. You can see the effects of it now. Like, abortion rates are way up. Depression and mental illness in women, like 22% of the population have depression and mental illness problems. Women specifically.
Even traditional women who live on a farm with the guy who they lost their virginity to, they have an increase in depressive symptoms as well in modern society. So it's
Yeah,
not
I'm sure
correlated
because
to hookup
society
culture.
itself is just so depressing and degenerate.
Yeah, I know.
Let
I'm
me-
just saying it's not related to
Oh.
body count.
Did you want to
But
come
it
in?
is.
Yeah,
it is,
I'd like to talk. I'm with you. I'm not a big fan of marriage, and we can get into why that might be in a moment. I like having options. I remember I'm also the child of divorce who is the child of divorce. It's like, I like the fact that I don't have to choose among the 4 women who live in my village. I like the idea that just because I had sex when I was 18 because I was a ball of hormones and I just needed to do something, that I didn't have to make a lifelong commitment to the person. I think that optionality is generally a good thing for both men and women because it facilitates getting into relationships where there's actually excellent fit between 2 people, as opposed to just being limited by what's available. Now, optionality comes with a dark side, but I think that we actually live in a society that has unbelievable opportunity when it comes to entering into relationships these days. Like,
I agree with everything he's saying. I'm sitting here completely distracted by the young Asian woman with the Kaiser World War I helmet on. Just that. Remember earlier in the other clip, she was holding on to a black doll baby. If If I'm the producer of this show, I'm like, get her out the shot. What are we doing? I really want to know why she's in the shot. Now, it could have everything to do with super chats, getting the conversation going in the chat. Maybe he knows there was a spike in viewership when this young girl is sitting there. I don't know. But boy, I am so I want to know. I really want to know. Like, what the hell are we doing? Again, an element of weirdness. And for old boy that's sitting there, like, the guy who, runs the show, Brian, like, man, what are you doing? There must be hopefully some sort of method to that madness. Possibly. But what old boy is talking about with a marriage, you see, he's absolutely right. They're going to continue this conversation. They're going to talk about, like, well, what's really in it for men to get married? They're talking about, more women are unhappy and they're on antidepressants. And you have the one modern young woman who was saying, well, that's not to do with, having a lot of sexual partners. It's other elements out there that are causing that. So yeah, you got that. Okay. I ain't mad at that, but it would be really difficult to argue that the sexual revolution did not have a negative impact on traditional marriage. I mean, it's just really hard to argue that. Yeah, I'm cool with people. I'm like him. I'm cool with people having choice, right? Another thing too to realize, people talk about the 1950s and how great it was, and people got married and they stayed married longer, and no one was cheating and this and that. That's all a lie. Women have been moving the way women move, and men have been moving the way they move since the dawn of time. They just kept it quiet, right? That's all. They just kept it quiet. So when people sit around, they talk about, oh, a traditional woman doesn't do anything. Yeah, they do. A grown-up is going to do whatever a grown-up wants to do with whoever they want to do it with, right? And if you can keep it on the low, if you keep your mouth shut, if you could be shh about it, then it's going to pay off. You know what I mean? It's going to pay off. She was, I am a single one. What? I missed that. LOL. Yeah, man. That was earlier. You go back and watch the team replay that. Young girl in the background with the World War I helmet on was walking around with a black doll baby. We could not figure out why. I still don't know why. I am the single one. She's like, general societal progress is what had the impact on traditional marriage, not any one movement. Facts. I will give you that. I will not argue that. But it had to, all of that general, like you said, general societal progress, that's all part of that. And it was a shock to the way, Americans in general do business. And I understand that completely. I do. And, on this platform, I like to, kind of throw these ideas out here so people can hear this. These young guys who are still believing, I'm going to bring flowers on the first date. I'm going to do a helicopter ride. I'm going to be a complete gentleman and this and that. Nah, man, you gotta approach it a little different. Don't do that. Don't do that. And it's really hard because men really truly believe in that Disney fairy tale. They really do. Men really do. The average dude, especially, but when you have, like now in our society on this planet, the planet is way smaller now. Women have options. Dudes have options if they know what they're doing. So guys don't understand. Like, they hear the term game, like, bro, you got to have a little game. You got to know what's going on. But I'm not a player. I don't want to be a player. It's not about being a player, bro. It's about understanding what's going on and being able to move accordingly. Right? You're moving by 1950s rules, man. And it's 2023. You're going to get wrecked every single time. You're just going to get wrecked. It's like driving. You get the fastest car in 1953. You're not going to be able to compete with the fastest car today. You're right. You can't win that race. You can't. So this is the stuff that we're talking about. But he goes on to talk about why he doesn't agree with marriage. And again, this is a psychologist. I forget his name, but let's check this out.
More opportunity than there's ever been in the history of the world. Now, when it comes to marriage, it's like, yeah, I've seen up close. My parents' divorce took 3 years. It was really tough. And I work with guys all the time who are going through divorces, and absolutely the liabilities of divorce disproportionately affect men, like without a doubt. But that's kind of the general argument that I hear from guys against marriage. It's just like, it's so risky. But I'm going to give another potential argument, which is, well, what do you get as a man from marriage that you can't get without getting married?
That is an excellent question, right? That is the $1 million question. Today in America, what do you get as a man by getting married that you don't get if you never been married? Right? That's some, that's 100% on point. What do you get? What benefits do you get? It used to be by getting married would secure you, a woman, sexual access, basically. By getting married, you would have that. And of course, you wanted to start a family, and it was, traditionally that's what you were supposed to do. It was just one of those things. It was expected. It's just that's how we got down. But that's changed. And it's kind of like what I Am a Single One said, like general societal progress has changed that. It's changed that. So now men are worried about divorce, and they're worried about what they can lose by even attempting to get married. Whereas women don't seem to be as concerned as much. Why? Up until now, divorce has pretty much benefited women more than men. Right. And I mean, and that's one of the things, like, well, people are like, well, it's men gonna get wrecked, whatever. The law really doesn't care about your gender. It only cares about who is the higher earner, who stayed at home, who took care of the kids, what type of lifestyle you had, right? That's all they care about. Who makes this, who makes that. And if the if the marriage doesn't work and there are kids involved, that's when you're looking at alimony and child support. Well, that's slowly beginning to change. Women are beginning to out earn men slowly. I'm not saying it's the everyday thing now, but that is starting to happen. And women are going to divorce court, going into family court, and they're realizing that they're the top bread owners and the system is going to come after them. You are going to have to take care of this dude. Brother Mandrell's in the house. What's good, fam? What's good, bro? And I Am a Single One. She's like, yes, that's a great question. It is a great question. Like, what is it? Why get married? Right now, when you look at the emotional side of it, I think it's pretty even. Like, I want to marry this woman because I love her, and I'm gonna love her and love her forever, and she's gonna love me, and we're gonna have a bunch of babies, and we're gonna live happy ever after, right? That's that Disney fairy tale. That is my soulmate. That is my this. That is my that. That is my boo. That's my gangster bee. That is my whatever. You know what I mean? She's Bonnie, I'm Clyde. All that, whatever. All right, cool. But 50% of marriages in this country end in divorce. 50%. Right. So, and then, we talked about the whole divorce thing. So men are now starting to look at this like, why do it? Why do it? And again, the number one reason men deal with women in the first place, and this is just, this is my take on it, is for sexual access. Right. They want that. They want that. And in return, they're willing to provide and protect and put their life on the line and work themselves to death to give the love of his life everything she wants within his ability. Like, man, I can't afford to buy you a private jet, but, I can give you this. I can give you that. And he's willing to work hard and get that and make her happy. I mean, it feels good to be with somebody. It really does. But if it doesn't work, and there's, those guys out here making all his money, and then boom, he's getting hit with alimony. He loses half his stuff. He can't see his kids. It's a fight just to be able to see your kids 50% of the time. And these other young guys are sitting back watching like, yo, bro, Billy Bob over there got wrecked, man. Like, why should I do it? And then another guy tries it and he gets wrecked. Bro, what's going on? That's the question. Like, well, guys are like, well, why even go through this in the first place? So let's continue. Let's see what else they have to say.
Like just a few moments ago, you said you wouldn't risk it for the love of your life. And my rebuttal is, why can't you just love each other without getting married? What does love have to do with marriage?
What are you considering marriage? Paperwork? Like, what do you count as marriage? Because I didn't count my wedding dress or the wedding rings or the ceremony or the government paperwork as marriage.
Well, that's a wedding, yeah. So to me, a marriage is a civil commitment. And personally, I think the reason why marriages fail today is because it's a fundamentally very humble institution. And we've put so much on top of this that it's basically become unsustainable. Mm-hmm. Like, I think at heart, marriage is about creating a context in which to raise children. I think that's it.
Did you mean literally that you have 4 women in a village? Is that what you said?
Well, it's like my grandmother was raised in a village like that in Ukraine, and her husband lived
so
in the
they're
village
not like
older.
4 wives. You're not talking about.
No, I'm saying that there's like 4 women that
Oh,
you could
okay.
potentially
Yeah.
choose for a wife. And like, if it's not one of those 4, it's too bad, so sad. But I remember when my grandmother divorced my grandfather in her 60s, she said that's when her life began. Like, I understand that the divorce rate is very, very high. Like, I don't say, looking at a 55% divorce rate, there's absolutely no way that I would put my head in that noose. But divorce is also, it's good that it exists because it gives people an out of really difficult situations. Now, there's got to be some space in the middle between like implementing divorce only under these really extreme fringe cases and 55% of the time. There is a great deal of space between those two places.
There is a great deal of space. And like I said, I think a big reason is male adultery. I think that would close the space in the same way you.
And this young woman has been talking about guys cheating on women basically the whole time on this particular podcast, right? She's like, the reason the divorce rate is so high is because men cheat on women. All right. You know what I mean? Okay. So if that's the case, her whole argument is like, well, men cheat, and if it weren't for that, then, there wouldn't be any divorces. That's a ridiculous notion. And most dudes, believe it or not, most dudes don't cheat. I mean, and when you look at cheating between men and women, it's real close, female infidelity versus male infidelity, right? I can't tell you how many married women I've been with. I've never been married. I can't tell you. And I'm willing to guess that all of those women had me on the side and their husbands never knew. Never knew. The kids never knew. They was just doing their thing. Why? They were grown ups taking care of their business. So, even when you get these numbers, I mean, if you got away with the crime, why would you even tell it? Like, why would you say you did it ever? Like, nah, I ain't never do it. Deny it to the end, right? So, no, women know what they're doing when it comes to cheating. It is what it is. And ending a marriage over cheating, I mean, it's like you really don't want to be with that person, I guess. Now, I get that. Like, if you cheat on me and we're dating, don't let me find out. If we're married, definitely don't let me find out, because I don't want to be with you. I'm not trying to do that. If those were the words that we used in the ceremony, if we said we were going to forsake all others, then all right, I'm gonna hold you to that. I'm gonna hold you to your word. But if we didn't say those words and I agreed to the relationship, then I can't be mad at you if you're going out there doing your thing. And likewise, she can't be mad at me if I'm going out there doing my thing. You know what I mean? But the question to the answer, like, what do men get out of marriage? Nothing. They really don't. It's if they could get the same thing by not being married. They can. Is it worth the risk? Today, it depends on the guy. Like, if you don't have anything, if you're a brokey, you're a dude, you got some girlfriend or whatever, and she taking care of business, and get married. Get married. If you're a dude and you're talking to a woman who makes $170,000 a year, and you as a guy, you're making $40,000 a year, right? And y'all into each other, y'all love each other, y'all went to high school, whatever, puppy love, and y'all grown up now, whatever, y'all decide to get married, right? Cool, y'all got married, right? All right, now where you gonna be living? You're gonna be living in her house, right? She's paying for that. She has the money. What are you gonna be doing as a guy? You're just gonna be sitting there looking pretty? No, you're gonna be keeping the house clean. Probably going to be cooking, getting stuff ready for your woman when she comes home from work, right? You're going to be doing all the landscaping. You're going to be doing any upgrades, DIY stuff in the house. If that's what you guys decide to do, she's like, hey, honey, let's get new toilets. Well, all right, get the new toilets, love. And, I can do that. Where I hire somebody to do the first one, I'll help them out. And then I'll do the rest. I can see how to do that. It ain't hard. You as a guy, you're gonna learn a little bit about plumbing, so you can do basic stuff. You know what I mean? You'll go outside, build a deck. You're gonna be doing all kind of upgrades and making the house more valuable and adding value to the house, right? And then if you guys decide to have kids, she's gonna have children, and she's gonna go back to work, but you're gonna be there to raise the kids. You're gonna be taking care of all that. Again, she's making $170,000, $180,000, $200,000 a year. You're making 40, 45,000, maybe 50 grand a year. But You can leave all that behind and focus on the home. Right. And let's say 7 years into it, she gets tired of you and she's like, all right, I want to get divorced. And she files paperwork for divorce. Well, when it goes before, like if it goes before a judge, the court is just going to look at it. All right, ma'am, you make 200,000. He was making 40,000, but he gave his jobs up so he could take care of the home. They're going to look at all the upgrades. Okay, he painted the whole house inside and out. He maintained the yard. He fixed all of the sprinklers and everything else. You know, he made the upgrades to the home. He built the deck in the back. He upgraded all of the fixtures in the house, in the kitchen, in the bathrooms and all that. New toilet, new sinks and all that. He's got before and after pictures because y'all been bragging to y'all friends and everything, right? He could prove all that. He was taking care of the home. When the baby got there, he was taking care of the baby. There was no need for a nanny. There was no need for daycare. Dad was doing all that. Well, guess what? Guess what, Mom? He getting the house. He's getting the child because they're going to say it was best for the child to stay there. Right? And he's getting half. He's getting half of your 401k with between 7 and 10 years, depending on what state you in. He's getting half of your retirement unless you buy him out. He's getting half. Now, when that starts happening in bigger numbers, yeah, women gonna be singing the same sad song that men are singing. Because again, when it comes to child support, it's based on how much time you spend with the child. Dad's gonna have the child the majority of the time. Mama's gonna be getting, every other weekend, you know what I mean, stuff like that or whatever, and alternating Tuesdays or whatever. That's how it works. So when people start to look at it, and when that happens, like when that happens, I'm gonna be hollering at women like I want to hear that same energy y'all had when dudes were complaining about this. Shouldn't it be 50-50? Why are we paying child support? He's able to go out and work. They say the same thing. She's able to go out and work. Shouldn't it be 50-50? But why she get to have the house? Why she get to stay in the house? Right? So why do you have to continue to pay for a lifestyle that they have? That's how the system works right now. That's how it works. So if you're a brokey, you're a dude, you have nothing. Yeah, man, going out there and get married. Now, if you have something, ladies and gentlemen, if you have something, you won't think about it. That's when people talk about prenuptials and stuff like that. So you want to sign a prenup. Well, if I'm signing a prenup, that means I'm betting that this thing ain't going to work. It's like insurance. I get that. You get insurance just not because you want your house to burn down or your car to crash. You get it in case it happens. I get that. But why would I want to deal with someone? Yeah, I need her to sign a prenup. I'm going to deal with somebody when she wants me to sign a prenup, and we can decide up front what I'm going to get if this doesn't work, which makes more sense than me. Why? Because 70 to 90% of the time, women file for divorce, not men. So if you have something to protect, you want to take steps to protect it. So then it's like, well, why even do it? Why even do it? How about we just remove the government? We remove that element from marriage. And okay, you guys, you go into a marriage with whatever you have, you come out of that marriage with whatever you have. And if there's a child involved, it's 50-50 split. And y'all both take care of your half. Yeah, I know it's never going to be that easy. I understand that. But this is where we're headed. And I do believe that they answer why, like what's in it for men with marriage. We're going to continue to hear what they have to say about that. But again, isn't it weird? Like, look at the young woman right there with the cat ears and the tattoos and the cat makeup. Bro, isn't that weird? And there's like, she's cute. It is what it is. She's a little weird. She's fiery. Would I mess with her? Sure, why not? If I was a young dude just trying to smash, why not? But would I be trying to wife her up? Nah, I wouldn't. But there are plenty of dudes who watch this podcast live that, boy, they're probably all in their DMs right now trying to get on her. Right? And she's out there in California. The big girl too. The big girl in this very podcast was saying how on her Tinder, she has 1,000 matches. 1,000 matches on Tinder. Dude, she got 1,000 choices of men right now. That's insane. And then the rest of the women, like, all right, they're normally just kind of listening. The cutie with the glasses on, she's trying to debunk a lot of stuff. She's pushing back, but she truly understands what's being said here. She gets it. She understands that the system is tilted towards her favor, at least now. right? But maybe what she doesn't want to believe is how it changes up once she hits her 30s and up. It changes. Like she starts to lose her superpower, quote unquote. Her beauty begins to fade. There's less guys interested in her, you know, like for long-term commitment, and just dudes who just want to smash a couple times. It's just something that, you know, everyone needs to understand the game so they can adjust accordingly. But let's continue.
Where it's a huge risk for guys disproportionately for them, because women are the ones who usually initiate divorce. 50% of the time it's like they're gonna get divorced. You could say the same thing for women. Like 1 out of 4 chances that your husband's gonna cheat on you aren't necessarily attractive odds either, but guys don't really talk about that. They just talk about the fact that like, oh, what's the point of getting into a marriage if the woman's gonna divorce me? But they don't realize the fact that the woman already takes on such a huge risk as well in getting married.
Well,
You mean in terms of infidelity?
Mm-hmm.
That's the risk of a woman when she gets married? For a woman when she gets married is the risk of infidelity?
Yeah, the 1 in 4 chance that her husband will have sex with another woman.
Well, my understanding when it comes to infidelity is, like I said before, and I know you challenged it, but the rate is comparable between men and women when it comes to infidelity.
It's
I could
getting
be wrong.
more
I-
comparable. I think
could
that
be
she's
wrong.
right.
You
I think
it's
higher.
a bit more men?
Yeah, it is, as I understand it.
I don't know
but,
about that.
But infidelity
Let's
is
check
a, is
the
a
facts.
really
It's a question for
complicated
Sylvia.
thing. Like for some people, cheating is porn.
Mm-hmm.
And for other people, cheating means like repeated violations of the sexual contract.
The 1 in 4 refers to actual adultery, not like subjective instances.
Okay, fine. So even in that case, there's a huge range in reaction. Some people are like, nope, this happened once, I'm done. The whole relationship is over, even if we've been married for 20 years, even if we have kids. Other people, they're finding ways to work with the situation. Like it's not an automatic termination. So the infidelity rate can't by itself explain the disproportionate rate in female-initiated divorces, because not every woman who's cheated on divorces her husband.
Oh, I didn't say it was 100% of the reason. I was saying that's definitely a significant way to tighten the gap a little bit between what you were saying of the 55% and then like.
But to go any further, it's like, why wouldn't she get divorced? It's like, if I could work a job and if at a certain point I didn't want to work there anymore and I could take half the salary that I was making by not working, like I'm going to get more and more dissatisfied with the work that I would still have to put in at that job. It would take extremely high character and incredible integrity to put in the same amount of work and effort, knowing that you could stay at home indefinitely for half the paycheck and then get another job with that time.
Sure, but you were the one who was talking about SMV, and as a woman ages, her SMV goes down, so that's a huge risk. Because what are the odds that another guy is going to date her? You know what I mean? With a kid and who's a divorcee. Some guy will, but if women are hypergamous, it won't be the type of guy she wants. So that's a big factor. I don't think women are getting divorced for fun or for this like idea of laziness and just collecting the paycheck. I don't think women want to get divorced. I refuse to believe that mothers are that callous that they're like, I'm just going to collect the paycheck and then find another husband. I don't think that's what they're thinking of in their 50s when they have 3 kids at home.
Yeah, are they?
You know, that she has a good point there. I would agree. I would say that most women don't want to get divorced initially. It's just, I think most women are like, you know, they think of the situation and then they make that decision. I honestly believe it's their version of a midlife crisis. Maybe they believe they can do better. You know, social media is has had such a huge impact on our society. They're constantly looking at Instagram and TikTok, and they're looking at people living their best life, which is all fake, right? You know, like the stuff you see on Instagram is so fake. And they're thinking, I can do better. And they're looking at their husband. And, you know, there's like, well, I want to feel more wanted. And I'm in the gym, I'm working out, and I'm getting my body together, and I'm sexy. And, you know, some women just kind of get lost in that. And they get some guy who's like really attractive, you know, really put together, whatever, got game. He's hollering at her. She decides to go ahead and rock with him. And she's thinking, I'm leveling up. I'm going to get with this guy. We're going to live happily ever after. Leaves her husband only to realize that she's dealing with a player and all he wanted. He got what he wanted and he's gone anyway. I think you have a little bit of that. You know what I mean? But yeah, it says, I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't have any numbers. The rate of infidelity is definitely higher in men. is what you're saying. Says, I don't have the numbers, but I think it's close. I think it's like maybe a 15, possibly 20, basis points difference between the two. I mean, there are a lot of women getting it in. And it's always been that way. It's always been that way. Why would it change now? And it's just more access to different guys today. Right. And these guys, especially with the simpleton movement, these guys are willing to fly women out from wherever just to smash. So, and again, if you catch somebody in the wrong, headspace, and someone wants a little difference, they're tired of monotony, you know what I mean? They want some strange, and they're, an attractive woman, she can get it if she want it. She can get it. It's really up to her. And the guy, 9 times out of 10, now screw that. 6 times out of 10, the guy doesn't have the same amount of options and quality options as his female counterpart, his wife. So I just think, I think it's close. Maybe men edge it out a little bit, maybe, but I think there are more women out there getting it in, and they're just really good at keeping it on the hush. That's what I think, love. I ain't gonna lie. That's what I think. And I'm only basing that on personal experience. Like I said, I smashed a whole lot of married women. Dudes in my crew smashing mad married women and women in long-term relationships. I can't tell you how many times I've been with sloppy, like women who were sloppy with it, and they boyfriends or husbands find out and they want to get on the phone and call. And this was before social media. Now they can like slide in your DM. This is when it was like a regular phone call. I can't tell you how many dudes be calling like, come on, bro. Man, bro, you know what time it is, man. You know what I mean? Well, stop it. You know what I mean? Stop it. But I just find it interesting that this young woman who has all these choices in men are saying that the reason the divorce rate is so high is because men are cheating on women. I mean, just dudes can't get it like that. I'm just keeping it 100. They can't. Dudes cannot get it like that. And then when you add the like, I wasn't no home wrecker. That was her. She wrecked her home. I ain't know. Most women don't tell you they married until after the fact. Keep that in mind too. It's a crazy game. And I was a savage back then. I didn't care. But most women don't tell you they're married. Some do. Like the women that come up with their ring on and they let you know up front what it is. Yo, I was like, man, she's a G with it. Can't call her a home wrecker because her husband never found out. Ignorance is bliss. You know what I mean? And I am seeing one. She's like, let me see. DL saying I really want no podcast is the reason for the divorce rate out here. Oh my God. Nah, it ain't me, because I was good with it. Like I said, I was sliding around out there like a sniper, man. They did not, the women I dealt with in those circumstances, the women that dealt with me, man, they kept it nice and neat. It wasn't messy. They kept it nice and neat. And it shocked me because I'll be there with them, listening to them while they're on the phone, talking to their husband or their, significant other, saying what they were saying. And I'm listening to her and listening to what she's saying. And I'm like, damn, how many of my women, how many girls that I've been kicking it with was doing the same thing on the phone, telling me one thing while she's sitting next to the dude she finna smash. I just laugh like, all right, it is what it is. That's why I don't worry about it. People talk about body count. I don't worry about body count. It's how you carry yourself. Right? That's how I look at it. It's how you carry yourself. So and I am the single one. Let me know if you want me to drop the link. You know what? I'm definitely gonna be dropping a link on this one. Yeah, I'm gonna drop the link. We're gonna get through this video, then I'm gonna drop the link and see if anyone wants to pop up. Let's continue.
Stay together for the children.
I don't think that's a good idea.
Well, I mean, that's just some of the reasons that I've seen that why they stay in a marriage.
Oh,
It's
it's
for the
certainly something
children.
that people endorse a lot. Yeah, to stay together
Mhm.
for the children.
But I mean, if what's going on in marriages is so terrible for women and with the risk of infidelity, then, I mean, do you agree with me that marriage in general, whether it's for a man or a woman, is a bad move?
And say bad move. I said it's a risk.
For
But it's
both.
a risk within your control. Like I said, it's not flipping a coin or something. You
It's-
decide whether you're going to cheat. You decide whether you're going to get divorced. You decide whether you work vacation. It's not like jumping off a plane and 50% chance the parachute's going to open or not.
I think
But
dating.
people fall out of love. I mean, I would say most relationship breakdowns aren't even necessarily, I don't even think it's necessarily someone's done something wrong.
Yeah, relationships don't have to be bad in order to end.
Yeah. So, and look, I'm a businessman, right? You know, I'm a businessman because you find me at my places of business. And I don't sign contracts that don't benefit me. So
Well, that was
I-
kind of my point. Is not only is it a disproportionate risk, but what's the upside?
there
I
really
can
isn't.
tell you,
as
I
it
can
is.
tell you
of
the upside.
legal
There are a
upside.
lot.
The upside used to be she would sleep with you.
Can
But
I say
that's
the
gone.
upside? Can I say my perspective on the upside?
You mean the upside as a man?
as from marriage in general?
Well, we're talking
But,
about it from the
Jim,
man's
okay.
perspective.
Okay.
What's the
so
upside of marriage?
The upside in marriage is that what a lot of people don't understand is that men and women complement each other in the craziest way possible. Men and women have completely different brains. We're completely different creatures. But when you work together and you communicate through things, men have a fantastic perspective on certain things, and women have a fantastic perspective on things. You
Long-term
think about-
relationship.
I
Yes.
agree
Don't
with
need
all
marriage.
that,
And
but
you
you don't need
grow
marriage for
together
that.
more and more and more as a couple, and when
Long-term
you raise
relationship.
children, and like
Raise children in a long-term relationship.
yes.
You don't, yeah, but you don't need, you're talking about, you can get all of the things you listed in a long-term relationship. You need not get
Is
married.
this? Are you talking about like marriage just without the papers? You know what I'm saying?
That's
No,
what he's
I'm,
talking
I'm
about.
just,
Yeah.
you can just be in a
Lifelong
long-term
Now, how do you establish
relationship.
it?
Okay.
Like, how
What's
does
the-
both
what-
parties know it's a long-term for life relationship?
By-
But you don't even know that if you get married. That's
Yeah.
kind of our point, because it's an at-will
point.
relationship.
Good
that
But
could
I
end at
know
any
that
time.
because I don't base our marriage off what I listed earlier.
But-
That's a
But you,
difference here.
but you're
I think
talking
it's-
from the religious perspective, correct?
I'm
Even
talking from
godly,
the-
even godly, pious people get divorced.
No, I know, because honestly, this is a personal story. My husband and I have been through problems. Like, we've been married for going on 12 years now, but that doesn't mean we never had problems. We had lots of problems, and we had, times where we didn't think we were going to make it. But when I understood that marriage wasn't, all the external stuff, and I understood it was the consummation, that's what sealed it for me. And I know not everyone can relate to that because they've had past partners, but that's fine. Like, when you're in Christ, you make that vow to him in front of him, and you make that, it's not just a vow, it's a covenant that you make.
Right, but not,
And a lot of religious people, they go into that, right? And shout out to them, more power to them. I agree with that. But 50%, right, of marriages in the church and in divorce too. It is what it is. They break that covenant. They break those vows. They do it all the time. My thing is modify the words, or like these brothers are saying, don't get married. Don't do it. Don't get legally tied into a contract that is not going to benefit you as a man today. Now, that might change 5-10 years from now. Women might be screaming, don't get married. Like I said, if you have stuff, you want to be very leery of signing a marriage contract with someone who doesn't have stuff. You want to be very leery of that. Male or female, it doesn't matter to me. Because society is going to come and take half your stuff. And whose stuff are they going to take? The person who has it. Right? It's a reallocation of wealth. They're going to take it from you. Now, the example I gave with the guy who's, he's not working, he's staying at home, he's keeping the home right, he's adding value to the home, he's taking care of the family, taking care of the kids while mom is out making all the bread. In that situation, you could argue he deserves half. He gave up his ability to go out there and earn. Now, of course, he wasn't earning before they got married. He was only making 40 grand. Maybe he was living in his mom's house in the first place, met this woman, he moved into her house. So the argument could be made that, she bettered him. So why should she have to pay him even extra? I get that. And men make the same argument, right? And more likely, there are not a lot of women out there who are building decks, painting a home. There are some women that have to do a lot of painting, though. I do. My friend Corrali was real big on painting. She did interior, but I haven't seen many women on top of the roof cleaning the gutters, replacing shingles and stuff like that. DIYing, bringing in, like knocking down walls and redoing bathrooms and stuff like that. Are there women out there who can do it? Absolutely. They do a great job. There's female contractors out there who do great work. But in general, most women ain't really known for that. They're just going to keep the home nice and clean for those, for those women who are traditional and know how. They're going to cook, take care of the kids, and be that mom that's going to run the house, normally run the household budget, make sure everybody gets where they need to go, do all of the shopping for the clothes and the food and to take care of the animals and everything else. I mean, it is what it is. So I would go ahead and say, yeah, that's equal value. Yeah, the guy might be able to do more physical labor, more work, but what women do in the home, stay-at-home moms, what they do is invaluable. It's invaluable. So, I mean, I don't get mad at it. It's just, if you have stuff, men, women, you have stuff, and you marry someone who doesn't have stuff, the family court system is going to wreck you. It's a really good chance. The family court system is going to wreck you. And they were kind of talking about that. And I gotta agree with him. I gotta agree with him. This is a guy I'm, in my 50s, never been married. I'll never get married. I'll never do it. And people are like, well, how can you say that? I can easily say that. I'm not signing a marriage license. I'm not doing it. Now, I'll go into a church and say the words, but I'm not dealing with the government. And it's a really good chance I won't be living in America. 5 years from now, a really good chance I won't be living in America. I certainly won't be living in America full time. I just don't like the way the country is going, which that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother platform. We'll talk about more of that on Downrange Podcast. But, it's gotten so hard, like dating and just dealing with people today is difficult. I'm telling you, the weirdness out there. In the chat right now, let me know, how weird is it out there? Have you come across any seriously weird folks? I just every day, and then when it comes to dating, like, yo, I'm just noticing these people like, what are we doing here? And I believe a lot of that has to do with social media, has a lot to do with technology. They're sitting here watching just weirdness. There was a guy in LA, in Beverly Hills. He was an attorney, he was a black guy. This must have been, 30, 35 years ago. This is before the internet was like crazy with it and all that. This is before social media. This guy was a very successful lawyer in Beverly Hills. This was before I moved to Beverly Hills. And this is before I moved to LA. So this was before 1998. This guy was, his yard, he had these statues in his yard. This dude was, he was a gay man, black man, but he was a very, very powerful lawyer. Very, very wealthy, living in Beverly Hills. And his neighbors hated his yard because he had all these statues in his yard. They just hated it. And they were trying to force him to remove the statues, or at a minimum, put them in the backyard, right? It was just an eyesore in the front. And so in his house, like when you go into his home, he had these oversized chairs, like furniture, the table, the chairs for the table, sofas and all that, were like seriously oversized. This dude, he had a fetish. He liked believing that he was a kid, like he was a toddler. So he had everything made big. So he had to climb on it. He'll sit on the seat and his legs would swing. And this was his thing. Now, all right, that's weird as hell. But that was a random story. Now, if I were to walk into someone's house and see big furniture, I'd just be like, okay, whatever. It's almost expected. Like, there's going to be something wrong with this one. You know what I mean? There's going to be something wrong. And these people are out here dating. These people are out here demanding that people accept that. And I guess you can, especially if you're a young woman and you're beautiful. Like this guy, this really wealthy lawyer who's a black man and he was gay. He could do it because there's going to be, other people that he was attracted to. They're going to be like, cool, we'll deal with this because it is what it is. I love him. It is what it is. I can deal with this because into the bag, they're getting to, the money, and they could take trips, and this person has clout and status or whatever. But that's some weird stuff, yo. That's beyond weird. This young woman that was just on this episode that was, the cat makeup on. I'm pretty sure she can have just about, I'm not going to say she can have any man she wants, but there are a lot of men out there who want her. A lot of men who will be cool with her cat makeup on. Hell, they'll probably put it on for her. Like, hey, girl, I can do that makeup for you. You know what I'm saying? Just so he can, because why is he doing it? Because he wants to smash. He's looking for that companionship, and he'll tolerate the weirdness. The young girl, the young Asian girl sitting in the background. That's a very beautiful young woman. There's thousands of guys that'll be with her no matter how weird she is, playing with little black dolls or, you know what I mean, little white dolls or whatever it is she's playing with. They'll accept that. And I don't understand it anymore. I can't do a lot of this stuff, man. I'm sitting out here looking at these folks. I'm looking at these dudes. I'm looking at these women. I don't see anybody getting together anymore, bro. I don't know how they're doing it. I don't know how they're doing it. And then you have people who are very controlling on both sides. Men and women are very controlling. I think that's a bit weird. People who just let others run over them and just walk all over them. I think that's a bit weird. But the big thing is when people, like, you're cosplaying every day of your life, you're dressing up like a Barbie doll, or you're dressing up like, a superhero. There's people running around San Diego, at least there used to be, in superhero costumes, actually going out there trying to stop crime, getting themselves hurt. One dude got himself arrested because he wound up turning to the dark side and like actually started robbing people. And the police had to arrest him. He's dressed up like a broke Batman. This was in San Diego. There's just it's just too much weirdness going on right now, guys. People need to embrace normality. I mean, who am I to say that, right? I'm just some old dude, but I don't know how this is going to work moving forward. I don't know. And then we're moving into an era where everyone's going into social media. Apple's come out with their new goggles or whatever, the new VR stuff that looks scary. I'm definitely going to do a show on that. That looks scary. This thing that Apple has, this VR at your fingertips, bro. I mean, it's like the future is definitely here. It's way better than the Oculus. My daughter has that. This thing is way better. It merges virtual reality with real reality, right? It merges the two. It's, bro, if y'all haven't seen it, man, y'all got to see it. It's scary. So now, people are going to be walking around and they're not going to be able to tell real from fake. Like this is where we're headed. Maybe it's all about design. So you don't even have to do the makeup anymore. You just stay at home, work from home, put on your goggles, your Google goggles, and your avatar is going to be the half cat, half lady with the tail and whatever, and you're just walking around in a virtual world that's kind of real. And they say the tech is getting to the point where people can't tell the difference. Man, that's some scary stuff, bro. That's some scary stuff, man. Mile High Fat Guy, what's good, fam? Thanks for coming through. Appreciate you, man. Let me give you a horn, man. What's good? Whatever podcast is interesting for sure, but the last Unplugged Alpha was real-ish. 3 real girls calling in. Everyone is confused with what mainstream is trying to push. Facts, bro. Facts, man. Like these two worlds are colliding. The real world and the fake make-believe world is colliding. The way people see themselves in their brain, like their make-believe versus the way everyone else sees you, it's starting to collide. It's just, bro, like I don't, like I said, there's a lot of weirdness out there. So it's hard for me to go up to these dudes. These dudes come to me and they want, hey, they want advice. They want some coaching. It's difficult for me at times to talk to some of these guys, bro, because they don't even know who they are. I'm like, man, who are you? Like, what are you about? And they can't tell me. They can't tell me. They start naming other people. I'm like, man, I know who they are. Yeah, I know who Myron Gaines is. I know who Andrew Tate is. I know who Rich Cooper is. Right? I know who Mike Sertan is. I know them. You're not them. Who are you? So they're getting kind of lost. And now we're getting into an era where virtual reality and real reality is going to collide. And people aren't going to know the difference. That's some scary stuff, man. I'm definitely going to do, I definitely want to react to this new Google goggle thing. I forget what it's called, but, all of the big YouTubers have already seen it and interacted with and worked with it. Scientists are talking about it. Bro, I mean, it's getting crazy out here, man. So, when I do talk to dudes, I tell them like, hey, man, quit being weird. Quit being weird. But it seems to me that weirdness is becoming the new norm. I'm like, quit being weird. They're looking at me like, why? I'm not really weird. I'm free with it. This is how it's supposed to be. People accept it. I got to act this way because look at this girl. If I want to get with her, I'm gonna have to get into her world, and she's over there dressed like, you know, Chitara from Thundercats. So I'm gonna have to dress up like Lionel. And I'm like, well, if you're gonna dress up like a Thundercat, man, be Panthro, bro. Be Panthro. You know what I mean? But the thing is, guys will do anything, virtually anything, to win the affections of a woman. And that's just a scary thing right now, bro. It's just, to me, it's just so scary. Mile High fat guy. Yo, what's up with the Asian chick in the background, bro? Like, what's her deal? Is she always in the background, just in the back in the shot? Is she always holding like doll babies and stuff like that, getting up, moving around? Like, bro, if you're still with me, what's the deal with her? I'm just curious. I don't watch a whole lot of whatever podcast. I've never watched a live episode. Just clips, and then kind of going back and watching the podcast. I just find that strange. And again, it might be a money play. You know, having her there, it might increase, you know, traffic in the chat. It might increase super chats. It might, you know, it is what it is, man. But those are the things we talk about, man. Like, even on that podcast, the women were telling dudes, like, don't show up with flowers. Don't do this. Don't bring gifts, you know what I mean? Or bring gifts that, you know, bring something meaningful and this and that. And dudes still don't listen. They still don't listen. I don't get it. But I do know it's tough out here. You know, for these youngins, I tell them, like, bro, it's definitely tough out here. You must have game. You have to sit back and understand how people move, and you have to adjust accordingly. Right. So watching episodes like this, clips like this on whatever podcast, there are clips that you can find on After Hours on Fresh and Fit. Rich Cooper, you know, an unplugged outfit, which is what the Mile High Fat guy is talking about. Rich Cooper keeps it 100. Now he's starting to talk to women. I've seen some clips when you have women coming on, boss babes coming on, and they're trying to figure out what they need to do to get a guy. It's happening on both sides. Men and women are struggling really bad to just make that connection. And then, of course, you know, the red pillars are like, well, that's because they've been chasing after the top tier guys and they've hit the wall and all this other kind of stuff. All right, yeah, you know, that's part of it. That's part of it. But she's hit the wall and you still can't holler at the player. So what's the deal? What's the deal? You still can't holler at her. What's going on with you? Well, maybe because you got some weird tendencies you need to sort out. Right? Yeah, she got some weird tendencies she needs to sort out as well. You know what I mean? Get yourself squared away, and then you can come into her life, whoever she is, and as that leader, help her square herself away. And then she's, you know, maybe she want to be with you. Maybe you can show her the way. And then boom, there you go. You got yourself a woman. You know what I mean? Mile High Fat guy, I don't know, but she is in many of the shows for sure. I think she might be some kingmaker of intern or something. Oh, okay. Maybe she doesn't say a word. I haven't heard her say anything, bro. Like I say, it's just kind of a weird thing, man. Maybe she has a relationship with Brian, or maybe like a personal relationship or a business relationship. I'm pretty sure he needs someone to help source. Maybe she's the one to help sourcing and she wants to be on camera. I don't know. And he's like, sorry, some kind of internship or something. Yeah, maybe she's getting paid to be an intern. Maybe she is his assistant. Like, I don't know. And like the Brian dude, like I'm pretty sure he's a nice fella, but you know, a lot of dudes in California come off weird, bro. They come off weird. It's a lot of weirdness out there, man. A lot, especially in Hollywood. I know they're in Santa Barbara. It's a couple hours away from Hollywood, just a couple hours away. But to me, it's all the same. I mean, it's all the same. All the way up to San Luis Obispo, it's the same. You know, Santa Barbara, San Luis Obispo, Camarillo, like it's all the same, man. It's like going all the way down south, man, through to, you know, like Temecula, San Diego, man. It's that whole like Southern California thing, man. It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird. You know, and it's you got your normal folks out there, you like for the most part, but yeah, man, it's hard for me to, you know what I mean, put into words. You got to experience. You got to experience it. Mile High Fat guy, like, She has hosted some of the after shows. Word, I didn't know that. I'm gonna have to go through some of their stuff and check it out because I've just seen her sitting in the background. If she's not sitting in the background, they'll have that sex doll sitting back there, which again, weird. But again, this could be a play that they might have just found a formula that works, and this is the formula that works. And they're certainly getting the views. They're certainly getting the super chats. They're certainly getting the bread. You know what I mean? And they're putting out some fairly decent content. I can't lie to you. I mean, like I said, it's fresh and fit West. Absolutely. They just cut and paste from Myron and Fresh's After Hours. That's it. I haven't seen any shows where actually talking to dudes about leveling up, making money, saving money, getting your credit score together, getting your body together. I haven't seen any of those shows. You know what I mean? If you want to do that, like that's Myron and Fresh. You got to go and check them out. Those early shows are money, especially for these young dudes and some of these older dudes, man, is money. Like what they're talking about is spot on. And there's so many guys out there that's increased their credit scores. So many guys out there that have leveled up, got themselves better jobs, started careers. So many guys out there that learn the importance of networking and getting out there and being the best that they can possibly be. And then, what's the side effect of that? Women start seeing them. These guys have gone from being basement dwellers, invisible dudes, to being seen by a lot of women. Seen it, man. These guys come up, man. They see Myron and Fresh, bro. The look in their eyes, man, they're so grateful. Like, man, if it wasn't for you, man, I still be fat. I still be down in the basement doing this, complaining this and that. Because of you, I got my credit score up, bro. Got my credit score up. Got me a first property. Got my third property. You know what I mean? I've managed to save my money. I don't waste my time anymore. I'm not doing drugs anymore. I'm not wasting my life away. This is what guys are coming up to Myron and Fresh and saying every time there's a public event. I see people come around. Man, I'm telling you, I just be sitting there chilling, listening. Guys are waiting in line to come up and shake hands, like give them hugs, like, man, thank you so much. Save me. And there's so many dudes coming up like, yeah, I was going to end it all, man, but I saw the episode you did and that turned my life around. Seen it. I'm seeing, I was completely impressed. Like, wow, bro. I mean, so they are out there actually helping dudes. And then there are people out there who are just making money. I ain't mad at them. There's people out there going out there getting their bread. I ain't mad. Go ahead and get down. Do that. Go ahead and get down. So, but like I said, man, I talk to these dudes and I've been telling them, like, don't be so weird. Stop being a weirdo. But I don't know. So many weird women out there. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe it's like, all right, just temper your weirdness. You know what I mean? Just control your weirdness. Maybe it's that. I don't know. Brother, my guy, I found Rich Cooper in September of 2021. I weighed 387 pounds, started picking up heavy-ish ever since. Now I weigh 185 pounds. I've listened to a lot of the Mano Swamp. Hey, man, congratulations to you, bro. Congratulations, man. You lost a whole person, man. This is for you, man. Congratulations, man. That's what's up, man. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. That's what's up. I see you, man. Now, you know what I'm saying? You down to a good weight, bro. You can shit. You really want to be hardcore, you can join my beloved Airborne. Become a paratrooper, bro. You want to test yourself? That's how you do it. Airborne. You know what I mean? I like that. That was a great story, man. And you've just taken off so much of the pressure on your joints, man, and all that extra fat that was around your heart and organs, man, that's gone now, man. Keep doing what you're doing, bro. Keep doing what you're doing. You're going to live longer, bro. You're going to get out there and make it happen, man. Say, Rich and you strike me as OGs in this game, man. Yeah, man, like I said, I'm old, man. Rich Cooper has done way more than me, man. Like his book, Unplugged Alpha Man, is one of the best books I've read in this space. I recommend it to everybody. It's no nonsense. It's straight to the point. It's real talk. And I appreciate that, bro. I appreciate that, man. You know what I mean? I am an old guy, man. I've been around, bro. I'm here to show you that even later in life, I didn't hear this information until later in life, and it all makes sense to me. And I'm out here now focused on what I got to do. I had to reassess my goals in life. I had to get out here and get after it. I can't just sit back, man, kick my feet up because I'm retired and like I won because I've done so much better than where I started. I got so much further to go and I'm running out of time. So I'm out here cranking. It's like I was when I was a youngin', bro. Like when I was in my 20s, out here cranking, but I ain't doing the stuff I was doing back then. You know what I mean? I ain't worried about the police. I ain't worried about them stick-up boys. What I'm doing now, is legal, and I'm showing people it can be done, even by an old guy. And I'm telling these dudes, like these young women, like, yo, it's cool, but don't get lost chasing women. Don't do it. Don't get lost chasing women. I'm here to tell you, right? I was at the Valuetainment Studios for the event with Fresh and Fit and Valuetainment with Saucecast. And then they had a special VIP area in the cigar lounge. Bro, there were women in there. There were beautiful women in there just hanging out. Why? Because there were top tier guys in there. Patrick Bet David was in there, wearing some jeans and a shirt, chilling. Jean old polo, man. He was in there just chilling, had on some sneakers. You know what I mean? He was in there just chilling. I walked up to him. You know, I'm dressed the way I dress. Man, he was like, "Oh, I see you. You all dressed up." I'm like, "This isn't dressed up, bro. This is me just being a G." You know what I mean? He started smiling. We was talking that Army talk, man. That's, you know what I'm saying? That's a cool dude. That man is worth hundreds of millions of dollars, bro. And he started out way harder than I started out. He started out way harder, a refugee from Iran as a kid, man. He went through Germany as a refugee, living that life, and then came over to America with his family. He had to adjust to this way of life on the West Coast. And you talk about pulling yourself up by your bootstraps, man, that's a dude I seriously admire, right? He is well north of $300 million in net worth. I think they got him somewhere between $300 and $600 million net worth. And he's still growing. He's still pushing. So I'm like, yeah, I'm like, bro, I'm ready to come out of retirement to holler at you for real. I see his vision. I'm with it. And you guys are going to see me. Mark my words. By the end of this summer, you're going to see me with Valuetainment. You're going to see me and Vincent Oshana and the rest of them down there doing big things. Watch. They're over in Ukraine right now. Correction, they're over in Romania, not Ukraine. They're in Romania right now talking with Andrew Tate. They've already done another interview. I'm not sure when they're going to release it, probably this week. But they just did another interview with Andrew Tate. I'm pretty sure Tristan is there as well. So Valuetainment ain't playing. They serious about what they're doing. And this kind of makes sense after the BBC debacle. So now you're going to be able to sit down. And I think they did 5 hours. And I want to say they did a 5-hour interview with Brother Tate. So I'm looking forward to seeing it. This is going to be a really good interview. I'm really curious to hear Andrew and Tristan's story, especially what happened, being locked down and everything else. Is, hopefully they won't, not hopefully, they're not going to be able to talk about the case. Doesn't make sense to even try. But there's so many other things that I want to hear. I want to hear about his journey with transition to Islam. I can see outwardly there's been some changes. He's definitely changes. He's changed his rhetoric when it comes to RP and all that. He could talk about how people are saying that he's disavowed the red pill and all that, and manosphere movement. We're gonna get to hear from Andrew exactly what's going on. I'm looking forward to that. You know what I mean? So trust me when I tell you, I'll be over here talking about it as soon as they drop that interview. Now it's Valuetainment, PBD podcast. Be looking for that, y'all. But yeah, brother Mile Fat Guy, man, I appreciate that, man. That's a true compliment, man. Put me on par with Rich Cooper. Hey, man, I don't take that lightly, man. Thank you very much, bro. And then the brother continue. That's why I connect with you, bro. Keep hustling this YouTube game for real. I ain't gonna stop, man. Once I got in, I got in. I'm airborne, boy. We don't quit. It is what it is. And even if, dude, I've already helped a couple people, man. Even if I only get to touch a couple people, bro. When you truly help someone, man, you see them get up and go. Like, bro, man, I'm telling you, man, that just puts more batteries in my battery pack, man. It keeps me going, bro. It keeps me going. Yeah, man. I'm telling you, I'm going to keep doing this. I'm not going to stop. I'm not doing this for likes. I'm not doing this for subscribers. I'm not. I'm up at, 12:30 in the morning, sitting here talking to my camera on my computer, bro, because I'm really trying to help. And I get to meet folks, man. I'll be at these events. I'll be out there, bro. I'll be in them trenches, man, for real, talking to these guys. These guys just need a little pick-me-up, man, just like when you're out there in the field, in the real world. See somebody go down, man, you grab them and pick them up, man. They start running. They get right. They're going to follow you, man. You got to do it. The only way to lead is from the front. You got to do it. You got to get out there and lead, bro. You can't be in the rear with the gear. We got brother Lou Matic in the house, man. What's good, fam? Picking up heavy in the gym or just everywhere you go, bro. And that was for a Mile High Fat Guy. Lots of cardio too. Yeah, you need lots of cardio, man. Lots of cardio. And just really diet. Watch your diet. When you're young, you know, you can kind of get away with it, but as an old dude, I really got to watch what I eat. Poor diet at this point, at this stage of my life, can really cut my life short. So I definitely got to get better at that, and I'm definitely working on it. I don't have Fat Guy, but I invested in the power rack and weights, so got the home gym going on. Hey, you all about that, bro? You ain't playing. You ain't playing. And brother Lou is like, yeah. When I get off this flu bug, I will try myself. Definitely got to stay in the gym or walk. You got to just stay active. Get up and do something. Get up and do something. I'm bad about it. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm lazy. I need to get skinny fat every now and then, and I'll go hit the gym and go crazy with it. And then I'll, you know what I mean, I'll fall off. No excuses. There are no excuses for not just, you know, getting up and, you know, knocking out 50 push-ups, 100 push-ups a day. Start there. You know what I mean? Do sit-ups, you know, do jumping jacks, walk around the block. Do what you got to do. Stay on top of it. Just keep moving. Especially someone like me. I got a lot of aches and pains, bro. That airborne life took a lot out of this body, man. I mean, ankles, knees, hips. You know, I'm sore. I'm old, man. I'm old. So the more I stay active, the better it is. I still get out there and hoop sometimes, but I got to wrap up both my legs, got to wrap up my ankles tight so I can get out there and hoop a little bit with the youngins. But you got to do it, man. You don't push yourself too hard, but push yourself enough. You know what I mean? Push yourself enough. Casual Germs in the house. What's good, fam? Home gyms are the best gyms. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And keto was key for me. Hey, whatever it takes to get that going, man, you just gotta do it. You just got to do it. And you know, focus on that. Yeah, you be the best version of yourself. You focus on that. You get your money up. You figure out other ways to make money. You know, I do stand-up comedy. It's a passion, it's fun, but it's also money. You can make big money doing it. Right. And there's some things I have to do. Like right now, I have to do a reel. A reel is basically just a film, you know, just film yourself performing. And you have to send that to folks. And they use that reel to determine if they're going to work with you and try to get you other gigs. And, you know, these gigs get you money and this and that. So the thing is, I got to do this reel. And I'm in Tampa. I got to find a place and how much. So I was talking a little business with one of the club owners today. So a little small spot, like, hey, this is what I need to do. He's like, well, look, these are the numbers. This is how we do it. He gave me the numbers. I'm like, what? And just break it down. It's like, well, shoot, man, at that, you know, I can get X amount of people. Just do the math right now. Yeah, like I can get X amount of people. Let's see. And then yeah, so yeah. Just to do what I need to do. Right. Just to do what I need to do. I can bring in 50 people, which isn't that hard. And I can set a rate and I can make almost $1,000, of which, you know, about half of that will be profit. So I can fulfill my need. I can get my reel completed, do a little leg work, talk to a couple people, make sure I get my crowd in there, get my camera guy in there, pay out the owner, book the place out, do what I need to do, and at the end of the day, still be able to put some money in my pocket after I pay my editor, after I pay the camera guy, who's going to be the same person, right? After I pay the house, right? And that's just basic. That's not even me tiering the tickets and being able to offer more services per the higher, you know, tier tickets. Yeah, man. That's how you got to think. It's like, man, how can I do this and make some money? I'm doing what I love. I'm promoting it and I'm getting paid. And then I send out this thing when it's done and make even more money. This is how you got to think. Right? This is how you got to think. A lot of folks be like, oh man, I'm going to do this and I'm going to, you know, invest in myself. Yeah, go ahead and invest in yourself, but always have a way to recoup that money. I'm going to invest in me so I can make more money. And that's what you have to do. Like, well, I don't want to pay for this myself. How can I do this where I get what I want and at a minimum don't spend anything, right? Let me just at least make enough money to pay everybody so I don't go into the hole. That's how you got to start thinking. So it starts off with hitting the gym, right? It starts off and then you start to read books like Rich Cooper's book, Unplug Alpha. You would definitely want to read that. You know what I mean? You want to read The Art of War by Sun Tzu. You definitely want to read that. You know what I mean? The Rules of Power, the 15 Rules of Power, I think it is. That's another good one. You want to go out here, you want to read Your Next 5 Moves by Patrick Bet-David. That's another good one. You want to go out there and read these books. You want to get your mind in that mode of the successful people that are around you. Right. And then you're like, all right, I see it. I could do that. All right, cool. Let me go ahead and get this right. Okay, let me get that right. Bet. That's how it's done. Right. And I'm vlogging the whole thing. Right. I'm vlogging it. Oh, as a matter of fact, let me pull it up. I'm vlogging the whole thing on this whole stand-up journey. I guess that's what you're supposed to call it, the journey, but it's really just, it's kind of like my lifestyle, bro. I'm vlogging this. A lot of people were asking me, like, man, how do you do this and how you do that? Well, all right, let me show you. I'll show you. So, and here it is, talking stand-up. What's good, Josh? Let me go ahead and pause that. Talking stand-up. I'm going to present this to you guys. This is it. This is the vlog I do. And let me play a little bit of it. Gimmick here in Tampa to do a little stand-up. Yeah, I'm out here driving around, man. Forgive me for not making eye contact. But I hope y'all are well. Hey, I'm starting this new thing, man, because I'm out here back in the stand-up trenches, out here in these comedy streets, and I know a lot of people are curious as to what goes into it, and what's it like to be a stand-up comedian and all that. Well, so this is what this is going to be. I'm going to make a thumbnail later. It's going to be a thumbnail, me with a microphone in my hand on stage somewhere, and I'm going to call it Comedy Talk. We're going to keep it stupid. So whenever you... Yeah, I said keep it stupid. I meant to say keep it simple. But that's pretty much it, guys. I mean, this is... I'm trying to... Do I have it? I was trying to find a thumbnail. Let me go back one more so you guys can see the thumbnail. But yeah, this is the vlog I do. Let's see, go to my channel under videos, and this is it right here. So when you see this, for anyone who's out there, when you see this thumbnail right here, talking stand up, if you see that thumbnail, that's just me talking about whatever it is I'm doing with the stand up thing. Like if I'm out performing or whatever. Tomorrow I'm doing a show. I'm gonna break down the entire stand-up comedy thing, my history in stand-up to date, going all the way back to when I started over 15 years ago in LA, what I was doing to where I am now. I'm just gonna do a whole podcast on it. And then whenever you see that particular thumbnail, it's me vlogging. That's me out here, driving to some event or going to do some stand-up or going to talk to somebody about something. Whatever, anything stand-up related, that's, if you see that thumbnail, that's what it is. It's always going to be short. Just be a couple minutes of me talking about whatever, just to give you guys a glimpse behind the curtain. So when I, when I go down to Fort Lauderdale, which is going to happen, I will be going down to Fort Lauderdale at some point this year, this summer, to do some stand-up with Value Table with my man Vincent Oshana. Vinny's a comedy G. Like, this dude plugged in with the Waynans. This man has done nationally televised TV shows and stuff like that. He's had pilots. He knows what he's doing, right? I'm gonna be down there doing comedy with him. Vinny and I have done comedy. He's done a bunch of my shows in the past. We've like linked up and done other people's shows. So you're gonna see me down there, right? So and my skill set is, bro, I'm not just talking shit about myself, but when it comes to that game, I'm top tier. When it comes to promoting comedy shows, when it comes to producing comedy shows, I'm top tier. You'd be hard pressed to find anybody better than me, bro. Maybe as good as me, but you'd be hard pressed to find anybody better than me when it comes to the business of comedy. You know what I mean? And I'm pretty good on stage, man. I'm nice. I ain't gonna lie. I'm nice with it. I make people laugh. I get the job done. I know how to do my stuff. And on those vlogs, that's what I'm going to be talking about, like how I come up with my material. How do I place my material? Like, how do I set up a set? What do I change when I go into certain rooms? Like, what am I looking at? I'm going to put all that up on those vlogs. And then once I figure out a way to get up some sort of paywall, I'm actually going to bring, like, every time I go do an open mic and every time I go perform, I audio record the bit. and I go back and I break it down. I'm like, okay, there's something here, or nope, that's terrible. Let me move on to something else. When I figure out the paywall, I'm going to be putting those audio recordings behind the paywall so you guys can hear and can, kind of see what I'm doing and ask me questions like, oh, okay, so how did you do that? And da. So I just need some sort of paywall because I don't want to just put it out there free to the public. And God knows what's going to happen to that content. I much rather have some sort of paywall and I can just put it up for those who really want to, understand what's going on. I can kind of like put that up, let you hear it, and then, kind of protect the material that way. So it is what it is, y'all. Thanks for rocking out with me, man. We've been doing this an hour and 40 minutes on this particular stream. Right. And was talking about the weirdos, man, or people too weird to date. We covered a little bit of, whatever podcast or what they were talking about. Keep that in mind, fellas. When y'all out there moving, out here in these streets, talking to these folks, man, let me know how weird some of these women really are, and what you're doing about it. I'll be curious to hear what you guys are talking about. You know what I mean? I know what I'm seeing. And as an old dude, it's easy for me to get a young woman to cut the weirdness out. If it's a woman that's my age, I just have to walk on by, right? When she come in weird, I see something weird and she's older, it's like at my age, like, baby, you too old to be doing that type of stuff. And I just keep it moving. You know what I mean? But a young woman, I might talk to her and be like, hey, baby, this is kind of weird. You might want to reconsider your actions here. And if she continues to do the weirdness, man, all right, boom, I just walk on by. But most of the young women, they'll think about it and, they'll talk, allow you to talk to them and actually lead them out of the situation. Right? Again, another red pill talking point. Say what you want. Women do want men who are leaders. And they want men who aren't afraid to lead from the front. So y'all keep that in mind when y'all out there in this world, bro. Lead from the front. So Mike High, the fat guy, man, congratulations to you, bro. Keep doing what you're doing, brother. Keep working on that. Keep your weight down, man. Keep your body strong. Keep your mind strong and tight. And man, continued success to you, bro. Thanks for coming through. I appreciate all the kind words. You know what I mean? Brother Lou, thanks for coming through, bro. Always coming through with the support, man, and everyone else. I am the single one. Thank you so much for coming through, love. I know it's late where we are, and I know you got to get up and make that money. Going out there selling houses. We had brother Damon was in here earlier. Brother Mandrell was in here, my favorite Green Beret. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. And for those of y'all in Team Replay, please leave me some comments. Let me know how you're thinking. Let me know if you think I'm completely off, right? Seriously, isn't there a high number of weirdos out here, male and female today? Is it more weirdos today than it was back in the day? Y'all let me know. I think it is. I say it is. You know what I mean? Brother Nightish in the house came in late. What's good, fam? That's right. Oh, yeah, I had to do it late night, bro. Summertime. I'm on the summertime schedule, man. No telling when you're gonna see me. Please hit that notification bell, because I ain't gonna lie to you, man. Ain't no telling when I'm gonna go, bro. I might wake up at 4 a.m. and do another live stream. Who knows? Y'all know I ain't been able to sleep. So who knows? But definitely got some more shows coming up. I got some heat. We're gonna be talking about some more political stuff going on. So be looking for the Downrange podcast thumbnails. There's a lot going on politically, y'all. I mean, it's crazy. Down here in Florida, there was a woman who shot her neighbor through the door. The neighbor's kids were out playing. This woman's kids were out playing. And the woman, actually, I don't want to make it a racial thing, but there was an older woman who was the get off my grass type person, did some things to the kids. The mom of the kids came over and knocked on the door of the mean old woman. The mean old woman came to the door with a pistol, shot through the door, and deleted the mom on the other side. Never opened the door, just fired through it. Law enforcement here in Florida arrested that woman, and she's facing manslaughter charges and some other charges. She's looking at about 30 years if she's convicted on all counts or whatever. And down here in Florida, we have what's called stand your ground. You stand your ground laws, which did not protect this woman for what she did. What she did was just, cold-blooded murder is what she did. So, yeah, we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about that here pretty soon. So yeah, I appreciate y'all, man. Thank you so much. Brother Knight is like, yeah, I think so. Yeah, there's a lot of weirdos out there, bro. It really is. But we're gonna keep it pushing, man. It's up to us, man. It's up to us to save these young men and women and help them see the light, man. It's up to us. So I gotta go. Good night. Thank every last one of y'all for rocking out with me, man. I appreciate y'all. Thanks for rocking with me, especially when I don't even have a schedule anymore. You know, when school starts up, I'll be back on schedule. And I'm gonna keep y'all posted with what we got going on, bro. So everyone have a good night. Yo, man, y'all stay on y'all grind, please. You feel me? I'm DL Saint. This is the DL Saint I Really Want to Know podcast, man. I'm gonna holler at y'all later. Peace.
Darn, that's the end.